Kick-ass facts! Pew, pew, pew! We are still talking about phrases, the etymology of phrases, colloquialisms, idioms, dealer's choice. Bottoms up. This is to express friendly feelings to someone that you're drinking with. During the 18th and 19th century, English Navy recruiters would coerce London drinkers into dockside pubs to get them to join the service. If they accepted a king's shilling, it was proof that an agreement had been made to join the service. Dishonest recruiters would slip a shilling into the pint of a drunken man who wouldn't notice until after he had finished his beverage. The victim would then be dragged away and wake up on board a ship far out to sea, unaware of what happened to him the night before. Run amok. Amok, amok, amok. This is to behave in an unruly manner. This expression comes from the Malaysian word amok. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I couldn't find a pronunciation key. When translated, it describes the behavior of tribesmen who, under the influence of opium, became wild and attacked anybody in their path. During the 17th century, the phrase became popular in England when travelers would try to impress people with their knowledge of foreign cultures. It's like when you find out someone speaks another language and you try to get them to teach you how to swear. For your reference, vat fudere is how you tell someone to go fuck themselves in Portuguese. You're welcome. The writing is on the wall. This is a sign that something unpleasant is going to happen. And for this one, we need to get biblical. In the book of Daniel, God punishes King Belshazzar? Whatevs. For indulging in drunken revelry and degrading sacred vessels by using them as wine goblets. God sends his hand to write the words Mene Mene Tekel Upharsin on the palace wall, which foretell fuck's sake, his downfall. Unable to interpret the message, he sends for Daniel to interpret it. He couldn't see the obvious warning that was apparent to others because he was so engrossed in sinful behavior. Cost an arm and a leg. That means this shit's expensive. The cost of having your portrait painted in the 18th century wasn't based on how many people were in the portrait, but how many limbs were to be painted. The cheapest option was to have only your head and shoulders painted. The price increased as the portrait became larger with the inclusion of arms, and a top-of-the-line portrait also included the legs. Get the sack to be fired from your job. In the 1500s, tradesmen carried all of their belongings and tools around in a sack that they could leave in a safe place or in the boss's office. At the end of their shift, they were allowed to go in and pick it up. However, if the boss was displeased with their work, he would literally give them their sack. Take with a pinch of salt. This means to accept something with a healthy dose of skepticism. First recorded in the English language in 1647, the phrase stems from an ancient Roman belief. The idea was that food was more easily swallowed if it was taken with a small amount of salt. Pliny the Elder translated an ancient poison antidote with the words, "be taken fasting plus a grain of salt." So the Romans believed that adding a grain of salt would protect them from a lethal poisoning. Skeleton in the closet. This is a secret that someone is embarrassed about. Before the UK passed its 1832 Anatomy Act, grave robbers supplied skeletons for medical schools. When a raid occurred, the teachers tended to hide these skeletons in the closet so that they wouldn't get caught and have them confiscated.